Hello guys and welcome to the United Stand. Manchester United 0, Liverpool 5 at home at Old Trafford in front of the fans after we've taken 1 point from 12. That is the performance that these players put in and what the manager gives us. And I'm not going to go straight into the tactics. I just want to say something quickly. We know Ollie isn't the man for Manchester United. Well, some people think otherwise, but I've said for about a week now, probably been thinking it for a couple of weeks, Ollie isn't the guy that can take us forward because one, there's been zero improvement. In fact, we've gone backwards. There's no direction in this team. But there is absolutely no excuse, no matter what Manchester United team or what Liverpool team are on that field today, that you can let Liverpool dominate you at home like that in front of your fans. 5-0. It is embarrassing. And to not even get up off your seat until 4-0, again, just shows such a lack of in-game management. And that's the thing I'm most disappointed with in this game. The in-game management was non-existent. First of all, I don't think anyone tactically in the right mind starts the same team that got absolutely dominated by this Atalanta team on the first half in the Champions League night. The only reason we came back from that is because Atalanta tailed off after they took the best player off and we made the right subs and started throwing everything but the kitchen sink at it. That's the only reason we came back. And then to start that team again, you've got Rashford and Greenwood, who amazing players, top academy players, but they're both basically strikers. They're never going to get a cross in to Ronaldo. Their instinct is to cut inside and shoot. So Ronaldo's basically a missing man because he's not going to get found by the wingers. Shaw and Wan-Bissaka have clearly been told not to get that much up the field because they're staying back to try and cover Salah and Jota. But what is the point of having them staying back? Because when Liverpool go on the counter-attack, Rashford and Greenwood, I'm not blaming them, but it's tactics. They're not getting back. They're not tracking back. So Shaw's one-on-one, whereas every time we've got Rashford and Greenwood, one player, against two because Salah and Jota are getting back every single time and getting behind the man and getting behind the ball. Every time they come at us, it's Trent and Salah going against just one Wan-Bissaka, Jota and Robertson just going against one in Luke Shaw. So it's just it's massive tactics that just are being completely ignored. To play a narrow team, always going through the middle, against a team that loves to exploit the width with Trent, Salah, Robertson, usually Mane, but today it was Jota because they can interchange. It doesn't matter because their team shape and their build is right. I don't know how you can do it. And constantly, we've seen it time and time again, Salah and Trent getting left in acres of space. And the goals are coming from this side and nothing is changing throughout the whole game. We go 3-0 down 30 minutes in and still nothing's been changed. It is so naive and embarrassing to think that you can do the same things what you did against Atalanta and it can work. Hold on till half time. Hopefully we'll get a ball over the top to Rashford, which isn't going to happen when Klopp's cottoned onto that idea about 4 different games ago. And Van Dijk is a centre-back that's going to just kill that ball every time. It's not going to work anymore, but it's the only tactic you've got. And if that's the only tactic you've got as Manchester United manager in charge of players with amazing talent, you've got Bruno, Pogba, who, by the way, it's criminal to leave Pogba out of this game after how he played last time we played Liverpool and how much he brings to a team going forward. After how much he brought to the team at Atalanta second half, ignoring the red card in the second half because the game was gone by then, but to not start Pogba and instead start McFred, who, no disrespect, because I actually felt sorry for him today, were completely overrun, completely outscored and completely outclassed by a Liverpool midfield that were just 10 times more drilled and just knew what they were doing. They looked so lost. And Ollie continuing to do this to McFred, continuing to start him in games where Bruno is so high up the pitch that there's just such a massive gap that they get exposed, they get ran through, they get ran past. For me, I don't understand why McTominay's playing. I don't even see him make a tackle. I just see him get bypassed. And then at least Fred actually tries to make a tackle. And then not only are they offering nothing defensively because you're getting beat 4-0 by half-time, so this myth that McFred in big games help us out so much defensively is just not true. But also, going forward, Wan-Bissaka's got the ball again on the right-hand side. How many times this happened? Scott's nowhere to be seen. He's not showing for it because he doesn't want that pass. Because he knows the only pass he can do is backwards. And as that started happening throughout the game, there was murmurs from the crowd, as it's going to be. because you want to be on the front foot against Liverpool. I'm not saying it's all their fault, because it's not. Defensively, we looked so poor. Maguire and Shaw had shockers, absolute shockers, especially in the first half. The back line looked so out of sync. They looked like they had no idea what they were doing. How can this back line have no idea what they're doing when it's been exposed time and time and time again over the last few weeks? How can you still look like you're not focused? How can you still be out of position? How can you still not be on the same wavelength? And how can you still not be bollocked from your captain? I'm not blaming Maguire either, because he should be fed this information to be distributed throughout the whole game. Obviously some of it he should do, but especially along the back line. He should be told this information from defensive coaches, from the training ground. And yet again, we don't see it. There's injuries. And Liverpool are doing a team huddle all around Klopp. We're stood there like melons on the pitch. No words coming from the captain at all, but not really many being spoken by any of the others at all. Ollie's still sat on his chair. Ollie doesn't get out of his chair until 4-0. It's too late. What are you going to do then? How can you watch that first goal be conceded and think, oh my God, it's not going to be a field day, because everyone else in the ground could see it? You get up, you start bollocking your players, and you get everyone in line. For Liverpool, this wasn't even a must-win game. Of course they want to win it, because it's more than a derby. It's rivalry. But for Manchester United, Liverpool aside, this is a must-win game. Liverpool are more up for it than us. How can that be possible? You're at Old Trafford and Liverpool look more up for it when they're close to top of the league. They're on great form. We've had such a bad run of games. It was a must-win game. You want to please the fans. You want to walk out there with a bit of pride. And yet we look defeated. We look way out of sorts. We look like no one has any idea what they're doing. This is the main thing that came through to me. Confusion. Massive, massive confusion in this game. And to play so narrowly, it is so poor, because this team, they want to expose the widths of the pitch. They want to do that. But no. We play narrowly, we let them do it. And that's where the goals came from as well. And not only that, I mean, set pieces, guys. Pogba got a red card off our own set piece, because again we couldn't take a corner. I'm not saying that it's a massive thing, but we lost off set pieces, our own set pieces. When was the last time we really scored off one? It doesn't happen. The manager looks lost. It is just so poor, guys. And honestly, there's not really much else I can say apart from Ollie. Thank you for what you've done. Thank you for building this squad for us. Thank you for scoring that Champions League goal and all the other goals he scored off the bench, because he was a brilliant player for us and he was a club hero. And I don't want this to keep on being tainted. You can't be in charge of this Manchester United team with all these great players and be putting in performances like that. You cannot be picking this starting 11 against Liverpool and thinking that's the way you're going to get the win. And even if you do pick it, you've got to be able to play with it. You've got to be able to show us the reason behind it. There is no reason behind it. I can't see it. We've been picking McFred for over a year now. I still can't see it. It is just embarrassing for the fans. I feel sorry for the fans that travelled all that way. I honestly do. And I feel sorry for... I do feel sorry for Ollie, because he's out of his depth. He's massively out of his depth. And realistically, he should resign. I don't think he's going to do it out of pride, out of always wanting to believe that he can do something. And I think he truly does believe that he can do this job. But the proof's in the results. The proof's in the way that every other rival fan... texting, singing in the ground, saying, oh my God, I hope Ollie keeps his job. I hope Ollie keeps his job, because they know there is no direction. Top class managers like Klopp, Pep and Tuchel in this league, you have got to have an insanely good manager to get close to them. We've done all right getting the team that we've got in, because it's a great set of players, but that manager is just so far off it now. To not be able to improve this team defensively or offensively after the results we've had, to not even get a bounce back in a Liverpool game, to lose 5-0 at home, it's over, it's done. And going into these next set of fixtures as well, Spurs, City, Chelsea coming up, it's going to be the same thing. If this manager stays in charge, it's going to be the same thing, because not only It doesn't matter that much what players you have into it, because tactically it's just so poor. Not only that, he's going to stick with it. He is going to stick with these set of players if he stays, because we've seen his stubbornness, and it's not going to work. It's not worked in the first half against Atalanta. It didn't work towards the end of last season, really. You just got moments. And it's not worked today. It got so exploited today. It's untrue. And I think we need the new manager bounce. I also think the club needs to sit back and look hard at this and say, is this acceptable? Is it acceptable at home to get beat 5-0 by Liverpool after taking 1 point in 12? Absolutely not. And if this club wants to win things, they should make that decision. And they should make that decision. And that's just the cold hard truth of it. Because it's not going anywhere. We're not going to win anything under this manager. So what's the point? The whole aim is to win stuff. Everyone out there can see that we're not going to win stuff. So what is the point of keeping him in charge? Champions League, God forbid the players down tools even more and we end up going out of that. Because that's still a possibility. The mentality in the team isn't right. The tactics in the team isn't right. Going forward, running into players, not knowing most decisions in the final third, the pass is off, the pass is wrong. It just looks like there's absolutely no cohesion whatsoever in this team. Defence have no idea what they're doing when they have the likes of Trent and Salah coming at them. And even in the Leicester game, we were so poor defensively. First half of that Atalanta game, so slow and so poor. So they're not drilled, they're not switched on. The midfield, there's still a massive gap. Even after 3-0 down, Bruno's still playing second striker and Fred are getting left for dead in the midfield, and I felt sorry for him. They were getting left for dead in the midfield. And then you've got two wingers that are strikers not being able to get the ball into the best striker in the world. And I just think there's no cohesion, there's little patterns of play, and you see Liverpool, they know exactly who they're passing to, they know exactly when to get the cross in. They're so well drilled, and it's just looking at two opposite sides of the coin. You've got Liverpool who... They weren't even the best I've seen them today, but they still look so well drilled. They still look up for anything. They still know exactly what they're doing. And you've got Manchester United that don't look focused, don't look like they know what they're doing defensively or going forward. And it's just so poor. But we'll see what happens. I don't want to hope for a manager to get sacked, but I do think that decision should be made. And I think it'll be interesting to see how forward-thinking the board actually are and how much they actually do want to win things, to see what decision is going to get made. And the only thing we can say is hopefully next time we go to Old Trafford, next time we play a game, is that we actually turn up and win something. But I have no hope with that with Ollie in charge anymore, because I know when I go to the next game I'm just going to see the same thing. I know it, because if you've not done it by now, you're never going to do it. But anyway, guys, let me know what you think in the comments. Do you think Ollie is going to get the sack? What did you think of the front three? What did you think of the defence? Let me know your thoughts, and I'll see you on the next one.